U.S. warplane shot down a regime jet on Sunday. It's also suspended military coordination with the Americans on preventing air incidents. Washington says it was responding after the Syrian plane dropped bombs near U.S.-backed forces in the southern countryside of Raqqa. But the regime says the aircraft was carrying out a mission against Daesh. The pilot is still missing. Alaattin Kilic is following this story for us from Gaziantep near the Turkey-Syria border. He explains how the U.S. and Syrian regime's fight against Daesh is also bringing them closer to the conflict.
They have targeted this Su-22 type of fighter jet that was belonging to the Syrian regime in south of Tabqa. Now, Tabqa is a region where the boundaries of control of SDF, which is mainly comprised of YPG militias, Daesh and Syrian regime forces meet. Now, there have been a significant advance recently from Syrian regime forces against Daesh-held areas. And prior to that, there have been clashes with SDF and Syrian regime forces in that area. Now, we are seeing this incident come at a time that is just hours after the Syrian regime forces engaged in heavy clashes with SDF fighters in that area. And now we have two different statements from both parties. And according to the Syrian army, they're claiming that this jet was carrying out military duties against Daesh positions. Now, on the other hand, according to the statement that is released by the U.S. Central Command, the same fighter jet dropped bombs near SDF fighters. And in the same statement, the U.S.-led coalition said that this dawning of this plane happened in accordance with rules of engagement and in collective self-defense of the coalition partnered forces. Now, moreover, it called on all parties in Syria to focus on their effort against Daesh, as it is the common enemy and the most significant threat to the peace in a regional and global scale.
Julia Lyubova joins me now from Moscow. Julia, what's Russia's reaction to this?
Well, Moscow said that the downing of a Syrian warplane by the United States is a step toward a dangerous escalation. Russian news agencies have been quoting Russia's Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov as warning the United States not to use force against Syrian government troops. Russia is a long-time ally of Bashar al-Assad in Syria, and Russia has been helping the Syrian government militarily since September 2015. And Sergei Ryabkov has also been quoted as saying that the downing was an act of aggression and support of terrorists. Well, the Russian Ministry of Defense has also reacted and said that the downing was a violation of Syria's sovereignty, and said that it is suspending the referendum with the United States on accident prevention in Syria. And also we heard from Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, who made a more of a muted statement. He said that all countries must fully respect the sovereignty of Syria.
Are those just threats, Julia, or are they expected to actually take any action in response to this?
Well, indeed, we heard some very angry words from Moscow, from the Russian Foreign Ministry. But of course, that Russian official, he stopped short of saying if there will be any response or any retaliation. We might hear some more angry statements from Moscow, but remains to be seen if this goes any further in terms of retaliation. The United States says that the Syrian plane dropped bombs near the U.S.-backed forces and therefore was immediately shot down. But the United States says that it contacted its Russian counterparts before the plane was downed. But now the Russian Ministry of Defense denies this and says it wasn't contacted by the United States at all, and says it is now stopping dialogue with Washington on accident prevention in Syria.
Julia Lyubova in Moscow, thank you for that.